What's going on, guys? It's Eric here, Traveling Trading. Just wanted to make this quick little video recap here for you guys to be able to kind of look at and be able to gain a little bit more knowledge and insight as far as trading goes and whatnot. What I'm gonna do here in this video is just kind of touch on the watch list because I know a lot of you guys are asking about that. So I just want to kind of go through that a little bit. I'll recap some of the trades that were on the watch list throughout the day. Try to do it, throughout the week and try to do it in like a chronological order so you can kind of get the sense of, what the watch list is there for, what it's supposed to do, and, kind of how to trade it. Um, Especially after this past week. I mean, it was so much, so much money to be made if you knew beforehand to look at those, stocks, which is what the watch list is there for, to keep an eye on them. And I'll kind of go into a little bit of insight of, what might be a good strategy for some of you to be able, to utilize the watch list to your full advantage, and how I would, utilize it if I was like a new trader, um, and wanted to capitalize on the opportunity, not be stuck at, looking at the stock all day and everything. So hopefully this gives you guys a little bit better insight as far as how to be able to use the watch list. And, I'll touch on some other things too. Some other stocks that probably aren't on a watch list that you can look at, because I know a lot of times in the chat room, you guys mention other stocks too. Even ones that we don't trade, blue chip stocks and stuff like that, but still it's good to kind of get an idea of, what to look for and stuff. And of course, it is earnings season, so a lot of stocks are going to be moving, crazily throughout the days and everything. So that'd be something to kind of look into as well too. And I'll touch on my strategy as far as like trading strategy off of earnings alone, so you guys can kind of get a sense of how I do that as well too when I do it. Um, but other than that, that's pretty much what we'll cover here in this video. So this one might be a little bit longer than the other ones, just because I'm gonna touch on the stocks that were on the watch list throughout the week. So it's going to be quite a few stocks we just kind of look at together to kind of get a sense of, and then from there we'll break that off. And I'll be going live in the Facebook group here shortly to touch on some things there for you guys. So, anyways, let's kind of get to this, and I'll post this video for you guys in the chat room as well too, the full video. Anyone's not in the chat room, you just kind of talk to people who are in it about it if you want. But anyways, we're gonna go over this stuff here and take a look at the watch list, um, and just kind of get a sense of everything. Okay, so let's kind of start from Monday, which was what, April 20th. Let me see, when was the first day here? Yeah, the first day of the week was April 20th. Okay, so what was on that watch list there? Let me pull that bad boy up here for us and we'll take a look. Okay, so PETZ and XXII were one of the two main ones we were looking at April 20th. Now, this watch list, of course, was sent out Sunday. What time was it sent out Sunday? 7:38 p.m. I sent that out, that specific time. So you guys got that about 10 o'clock Eastern time, for us to be able to trade April 20th in the morning. Okay, and we'll take a look at some of the alerts that didn't really do too well as well too in this for you guys. Okay, so that way you can kind of get a sense of how to read those stocks too. That always helps. Not only is it good to look at winning trades, but it's also good to look, or winning alerts, but it's also good to look at alerts that don't go well, so you guys know when to step away from that alert or when to not even look at the alert and move on to the next thing too. That might help you out as well. But let's start with the watch list first here for Monday. PETZ. Let's pull that bad boy up here. Let me see here. PETZ. We'll look at the full chart. And we want to look at the 20th. Let me see what I said on that day. I said short interest was decreasing over 30% after hours, and it was poised for a big run, and it ended at 366. That was on the 20th. Let me move that out the way. All right, let's pull this bad boy up here. That's the 19th. All right, and that's the 20th. All right, so let me pull this up here. 1 minute. All right, so PTZ on the 20th. This is pretty much the 20th, and this is pre-market of it. So again, it was put out the night before back here, so you had time to pretty much get in, get some profit, and get out there. Um, again, if you were looking at that, and you had it on your watch list, great. If you opened up pre-market and you jumped in the trade at about, this range or this range, either or, it doesn't matter. You definitely had a good 30 cents move there, um, to profit for it pretty much opened up and downtraded and everyone that was in it took their profits and ran. So even here, I usually tell you guys, wait till the moving average is changed at least twice, once, twice, right there. If you would, even if you would have gotten right here, boom, there's your entry, and wherever you want your exit to be will be your exit. So that was pretty simple. um, again, that's just one little tidbit that I give you guys all the time. Not to jump into the stock soon as it's alerted. And PTZ, like I said, was on the watch list. Didn't need to be alerted that it was, going off because you already knew to look at it. Okay, so that's just one of them right there. Let's try to glance here. Let's take a look at XXII, 22nd Century Group. That thing just been doing good. Period. Okay, so let's see where we were supposed to look at. That was on the 20th as well. Close this thing out here. All right, so let's pull that bad boy up. This is the 22nd. I mean, even if you held this stock for a long time, it was alerted back here on the 20th, guys. Um, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if you ain't profit off of this, you're probably just not ready to trade yet. I mean, or your strategy is, needing some help. And you can talk to me about that if you want. We can discuss it. But anyways, on the 20th, this is the night before. Okay. Now, it wasn't much value, man. You can kind of see that it's pretty choppy. Um, but nonetheless, I mean, if the trade is still going your way, why get out of it? You know what I mean? I mean, you don't want to be too greedy, but if depending on how ambitious your price target is and your entries and exits on your strategy are, why would you get out the trade if it's still going your way? Is it just because you're impatient and it's not going your way fast enough? Maybe. Um, but even then, if the trade has not hit your exit, your exit point, stay in it. Let it, swing it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that as long as the trade is still going in your favor, guys. There's nothing wrong with hanging on to the stock until it plays out to what you want it to play, as long as it doesn't hit your exit point where you're supposed to exit. So, anyways, the 20th it was alerted, pre-marketed. This is pre-market pretty much. Then it opened up, all right, and it dropped down pretty much to the 350s, and it held support there. From then on in, it was just fair game. Okay, all the way till the next few days, all throughout the week, you could have stayed on XXII, 22nd Century. All right, and that's just one of the first ones of that week. So that was pretty simple. Okay, so let's go on to the next one and take a look at that one. And again, guys, we're just reviewing this just to kind of get a glimpse of the watch list itself and how it's playing out for you guys. Um, Let me pull this back up here. We'll take a look at what else is on the watch list. Next one on 21st watch list was SOS and UONEE. Pretty much, they partnered with a company with phase 3 trials, blah blah blah. You can kind of read that stuff. And kind of get a glimpse of that. But that was put out, let's see, the 21st was the next day, and that was the watch list for the 21st. This was at the end of the 20th. So let's go take a look at that one. SOS. Let's not get on SOS. You're in the chat room, you know the deal with that. So, anyways, let's take a look at it here on the 21st. I alerted on the 20th. All right, here's the 21st. This is where it started at, guys. So you could have, seen that there wasn't much volume in it pre-market. So obviously, it probably wasn't alerted then. In fact, the little issue with SOS and not being alerted, everyone who's in the chat room know what the deal with that is. But anyways, the stock itself opened up, it dropped, and it jumped up there. Now remember, in the watch list, SOS, it ended at 428, okay, which is right up here in this area. So even when it opened up, if it drops down to like 395, that's what a good 20 cents move. And it stayed kind of choppy throughout the day. And again, It's a tricky play with this one because it didn't have much range, and it kind of stayed in the same area. But there were times where it was at its peak, where if you were catching it at the right time, looking at your indicators, moving averages, and had your strategy set, you had opportunity to make profit there too, whether it was long or short for you. Depending on how you are as a trader. So you guys got to get good with reading your indicators and having your trading strategy set. But other than that, SOS was a pretty choppy one, but it was still opportunity there to profit. So that one wasn't too bad. I wouldn't count that one as too much of a loss. But let's take a look at UONE. This one was what, on the 21st as well too, right? All right, so let me pull this up here. A little ahead of the game. There we go. All right, 21st. So UONE1 or U1, if you want to call it that, UONE. That one, let's see, it was oversold, and we were looking for a potential swing, and it ended at 515. Now this is in the March timeframe, so 21st here. It was around this time frame, I believe. Yep. So it didn't have much volume, and it's been downtrending still. This one is probably poised for a turnaround pretty soon, just because of the fact that it's been down so low. Let's change the time frame on this and take a look at this bad boy. That's why it's always good to look at bigger time frames. Yeah, so I mean, it's still pretty low. As you can see, it has had history of running up before. But compared to where it's at, figuratively speaking, it's a chance that it could run eventually. Again, this is why it's on the watch list, just for you to look at. It's not for you to play, for you to look at, to find opportunity there. And it did have some news out, I believe, beforehand too. Prior, I believe it was something with something after hours came out, and I said, just kind of keep that on your radar to look at. So UONE, I wouldn't count one as a kind of a win column. It was just something for you to watch, which is fine. Again, that's why it's called a watch list. You're supposed to look at it, not actually play it. You play it once you find a strategy in it. Um, but yeah, on the 21st, it didn't do too well. So let me pull that back up. Go back into a few minutes there. Okay, 21st. This is pretty much the time frame for it here. So it shot up and then came down again. Oh, it was earnings that came out. That's what it was. That's why we looked at that. Yep, earnings play, guys. While we're talking about that, so when it comes to earnings, guys, the way I play earnings play, some people like to try to, jump the gun. You know when earnings just come out for a stock, they'll announce earnings are releasing on whatever date, blah blah blah. This is what I used to do a lot of times as a new trader. I used to try to get in before earnings was released because I would assume that the stock would go up and people would go crazy and it would run. All to come to find out, that was 9 times out of 10 not the case. Even if they were saying they were expecting good earnings, it was not the good case. It was never the case. Um, Not saying that it happens all the time, but most of the time than not, it would happen that way. And I'd end up losing money or becoming a bag holder. So I don't try to pre-play earning reports. What I do is I play them after. Once earnings is released, I look at how the stock reacts and I play accordingly. So let me give you another example while we're on this too here. Let me pull this up here. Let's look at Netflix because they had their earnings released I think this week too, and they dropped like a rock. What day was it? It was this day right here. It was actually the same day. Look at that. Crazy. Now here's the weird thing, guys. So Netflix really had good revenue when their earnings were released. The revenue was great, but the subscriber base dropped. Well, it didn't drop. It was just lower than what was expected. I think they were expecting like 3 million or something like that. I only got like half of that. And then they projected for their future to have lower subscribers as well too. Once those earnings were announced, look right here what happened to the stock. Boom. And this was after hours. A lot of times, and this is another reason why I personally, as a day trader too, you probably shouldn't do this, but I don't hold stock during after hours. I try not to, because of the fact that during after hours, that's when earnings are released, offerings are announced, and stocks tend to go crazy and they'll shoot up and drop down, and or just stay. They'll be up and have been up all day, and then they'll drop down, as you've seen with OCGN this weekend, or actually Friday. That they'll do that. Um, offerings are not a good thing to stocks, because if you've read the books that I've been telling you guys to read that are in the Facebook group or even in the Learning Lounge, you would know why. Okay. Um, but anyways, yeah, this is a prime example of earnings and earnings plays. That's why I play the reaction. I don't play. I don't try to play it beforehand. Earnings was announced, didn't do well, but everybody thought it would do well because of COVID and people staying at home and watching TV. Didn't happen. Stock dropped, big time. So yeah, that's just another example, of what earnings and earnings reports can do. So I rather play the reaction than try to play beforehand. Okay. So that's just another little tidbit for you guys. You don't have to do that if you're good at trading earnings beforehand and doing that. That's great. For me, however, doesn't work. All right. Um, Again, up to you. Let's take a look at the next one. What was on the next day? The 22nd. So what we had then. Oh man, yeah, I believe that was a good day too for us on the watch list. Let me pull this up here. All right, so the 22nd we had OCGN and we had TDC, and of course theirs was some of the back burners. So let's go to the 22nd. All right, let's take a look at OCGN because you guys know that bad boy has been pretty good. Um, and I'm not sure how much this is. I haven't been in Wall Street bets. I don't know if this was like considered a meme stock. I don't know if they were talking about it in the message boards or not. But if they were, great, because I made money off of it. But anyways, if not, you know, oh well. But anyways, that's what I heard through the grapevine. I haven't actually looked and researched it and looked at message boards, but if they did, great, more money for me. But anyway, so on the 21st, it was alerted. Or no, it's actually on the watch list on the 21st to be on the watch list for the 22nd. So this is the 22nd. Yep. All right. So this is when time frame of when you had it. You could have been watching it. Could have been watching it all throughout. You know, pre-market. You could have been watching it. Obviously, it's not doing nothing. Now, guys, when I say have something on your watch list, that doesn't mean you know stay watching the stock every single second. The purpose of traveling trading is for you guys to be able to know what to look for the next coming day and set your strategy accordingly. Now, again, like I said, if it was me, I would, on your application, whatever broker you're using, you're able to create a watch list. What I would do is, when a watch list comes out at night, you know, pull up those stocks, put them on your watch list for the morning, take a look at the chart, read the chart, and if you know how to trade, set your trading strategy accordingly. If it was me, like you guys know, I'm a bullish trader. If it was me, and I knew, hey, the stock ended at this price, I'm looking at the chart, I'm looking for levels of support and resistance. You know me, how I play the stocks, I like to watch for a breakout. So if I know at some point the stock itself was at a high of 727, it's going to catch my eye once it breaks, that area. And as you can see here, the following day, it was the following day as I after it was put on the watch list, it broke that 727. So at that point, I'm going to probably want to look at it. Okay, might not make the trade, but I want to look at it because it's done what it was supposed to do. It broke the previous high. So then once the alert has gone off that it broke the previous high, I'm waiting for that trend to change just to see exactly what it's telling me it's going to probably end up doing. And again, the trend is, you see right here, the trend is changing, and it's still holding within its range. So I'm still going to probably be looking at it. And then once again, it breaks the high again, you know. Now, if you want to play this strategy as like bouncing off the VWAP, you can. I mean, give yourself some cushion. That's great. I mean, give yourself, a $7 cushion. That's fine, because it's going to be trending in between here, consolidating, 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 and then from then on, just takes off. Boom, from 7 to 8 to 9, all the way up to 10 and after hours. I mean, all because of what, guys? You knew on the watch list to look out for that stock, and if you know as a trader what to look for and how to trade your stock accordingly, you knew to wait for a breakout of the highs and then watch the stock and manage your risks to reward accordingly. Like you're gonna risk, 20 cents to the dollar to make more than that. I mean, that was this was a textbook setup, and it pretty much lasted like this all throughout the week until this part right here, which we just talked about, They had this little drop for those of you that got in maybe a little bit later, because it went all the way up to freaking 13. For those of you that got in later, this drop right here came from a $10 offering. And you guys seen in I posted in the group that when I posted mine, I got out, or I wasn't trying to get too greedy. And we were talking about it in the chat room, guys. We were saying, hey, we think we might, a lot of you guys were saying, I think you might run a 13, and exactly it did exactly that. So if you know that, or if you feel that way, if you are confident in that trade or in that happening, why not exit? Why would you stay in and get greedy? you know of course, there's other things you could look at, like level two, and different other indicators you can look at to help you out with deciding when to exit a trade. But still, don't be greedy. I mean, there's more trades to come. But overall, I just want to kind of mention how OTGM was on the watch list. Told you guys to look at it. You should have looked at it, had it on your watch list. Set your alerts accordingly, or wait for the alerts to go off, however you want to do it. But have yourself a you know a plan in place for if that stock does move the way you think it's going to move. Okay. So that's just a good example for you there. Now let's take a look at TDC. I believe was on it too. Uh, TDC was a pretty good one, and I think that one. Let's see, it was on the 22nd, so that should have been for that day. Let's take a look here. 22nd. There it is. Voila. So TDC, yeah, it was okay. It was an okay trade. I mean, it was very tight. Um, so you probably, depending on what you're looking at on that one, could have traded that one well. And plus, it was a much higher price stock. Look at this. This stock is in the 50s. We don't normally trade those high of stocks because you don't get much of a move. Um, but it's still something to look at. It moves a couple of cents depending on your account size. That might be significant for you. So I won't really touch on this one too much because it's not a normal stock that we play in the group. Our stocks we shoot for is usually between $1 and $20. Um, Sometimes 30. And then when there's big stocks that make big moves, or something significant, we'll look at it. So we'll touch on another stock. Won't spend too much on TDC there. So let's see what was next on the watch list for the next day. Let me pull it up here. All right. So the next day we had SYPR on the 23rd and SGLB. So pretty much I said that they won the contract from the Deep Space program. I said you guys, hey, the catalyst could bring long-term money in during this play pre-market, and it ended at $4. And then SGLB, that really wasn't really too much of a good news. It's just something I was going to kind of look at. The year-over-year date was better than expected. They're not, I told you guys those aren't always solid setups, but you know, it's just kind of something good to keep on the radar along with the ones in the back burners. Okay. So let's take a look at SYPR. So it was alerted at 8:37, and then the night before, and then April 23rd opened up. Boom, watch list. It shows you right there. It spiked up at 410. Okay, so let's take a look at SYPR. Sorry. And we're gonna look at it from the 23rd. Look at that. Now the crazy thing about this one, guys, this one took a little bit longer to play out than I thought. Honestly, I was hoping that that momentum from that news would come in during pre-market, but it never did. And I sat there pre-market waiting for it. Nothing happened, and I fell asleep, woke back up, and still nothing. But as you can see here, ended what? What did I say? It ended at $4. Even when it opened up in pre-market, it actually dropped because it ended at $4. But it dropped all the way down to about 360. And even when it opened up, it dropped down to 340. And it stayed that way for a while. Now you had a little bit of a fake out around this area here. You're thinking it's going to run, especially, because you guys know in the morning after the bell, the first, 30 minutes are pretty crucial because, buyers and sellers are exchanging hands based off of, news overnight and things like that. So usually a lot of times in the beginning of the day, you know, things are a little wild. But anyways, you had your fake out here, then it did nothing and it pulled back and it went under. So even when you got a little fake out right here, like I said, I still wait for the moving averages to change twice, once, twice. I see no setup here. I see no basis. There's no reason for me to get in here. Even though the VWAP and the EMA cross, that's good to know. That's just one indicator for me to know that, hey, look at the stock, it might actually do something. And then I'm still waiting for the trend to change and nothing happened. Same thing here. Boom, crossed, waiting for the MAC to change. Not really a setup here, but then it breaks out. Okay, it broke the high of day, not the pre-market high day. It didn't break the $4, but it did break the high of day today, which is the indicator. You know, because to me, when it breaks the high of day, that means other buyers are going to look at it and they're going to probably start coming in. And at that point, there, now that I know that it's already crossed, not only did it cross, but it broke a high, then that might be a good time to get in. And if I'm getting in at 390, and I'm going to be really confident once it breaks $4, which it did. And at that point, I really don't have anything else more I need to take this risk to try to get this trade in. I'm willing to risk it at that point because it's hit my rules, it hits my setup, and as you guys can see, this bad boy ran all the way up to what, like 580. So you had time there. If you had it on your watch list, you could have looked at it, set your trade accordingly, and done that. Okay. Um, I don't know how much more clear this can be. I mean, it's pretty simple, guys. The point of the point of the alerts is to try to make this as simple as possible for you guys and not have you be stuck to your screen all day, traveling, trading. You're supposed to be able to go do your things that you want and make money while you're on the go. But you can't do none of that if you don't know what you're looking for, if you don't have a trading strategy, if you don't have a set of rules in place for yourself, and you haven't tested it out. I mean, there's no point. You're at this point, you're just gambling. You need to have some sort of rules in place, some sort of strategy you tested to do all that. And that course I'm making for you guys, you're gonna have all that. But also too, you can look at that stuff on your own. When I'm developing this course that I'm making for you guys is just kind of based off of what I would do if I was a beginner and what I would need to know for trading if I wanted to be a day trader. In addition to that, guys, we're also going to be focusing on swing trades as well too coming future. I meant to let you guys know that because I know not a lot of you can be glued to the alerts every day, but you still want to try to make some money. So I'm thinking, swing trading because I have long-term portfolios too, and I have swing trades that I do as well too. But I focus day to day on my day trading. But I figured giving you guys alerts and notes for swing trading, so I think that would help you out as well too. I mean, I don't know. You guys let me know if it's just extra work that I don't need to do, then I don't need it, then I won't do it. But for some of you, if you think if it helps, because I know a lot of you can't be in the chat room all day, you can't be trading all day, you have jobs, you have kids and whatnot, things that you need to attend to, but you still want to make some money. Swing trading is a good way for a lot of you who are still wanting to trade but don't have time to be stuck to the computer to do. Because it takes a little longer for those trades to play out. But anyways, I digress. That was SYPR, guys. So yeah, pretty simple. We can take a quick look here at SGLB. I don't think that one played out well. I mean, so far out of all those that were on the watch list, we're at two stocks that probably didn't play out well. But again, it's the watch list. It's not the playlist. It's not the trade me now list. It's the watch list. And SGLB was alerted on the 23rd. Yeah, so it wasn't much volume there. It was barely anything happening there. And all that did was kind of trickle down. So, and look at that, earnings. You see that? It was earnings. So yeah, so two out of the what, 6, 7, or 8 that we looked at weren't really good on the watch list. I mean, they're good if you're shorting, but again, you guys know I'm not a short trader. Um, I'm a bullish trader. So yeah, there's that. So let's take a look at the next one that was on the watch list. Oh, that was it. Was that the last one? Man, yeah, it is. Forgot 23rd was Friday. So, anyways, guys, so those were the watch list. So just to kind of have that idea of what to do with the watch list, hopefully that helps you guys out. And again, a lot of people ask me, how do I develop the watch list? How do you come up with the stocks that you want to trade? I mean, it's a variety of different things that I look at. It usually takes me about a good 2 to 3 hours of just researching different stocks throughout the day for me to develop the watch list. But I not only do I do it for myself, but I do it for you guys, so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm looking at while I'm preparing for the next day. Because as a day trader, you should be doing that anyways. Preparation, guys, preparation, preparation. So let's real quick, while we got a little bit of time here, go through some of the alerts. How about that? I think that'll be pretty fun here for you guys too. So let's take a look, and we'll start from the 20th again. I'm just gonna pick some random ones that were here. Some of them might be good trades, some of them might not. So let me pull them up here. So what's some of the ones that went off? So let's see here. Let's take a look at OBLN. That was from the 20th. Let's see. Right here, OBLN on the 20th. So more than likely this one went off because it broke a new high a day coming out the gate, and then it did nothing. But look at this, guys. If you waited for the second turn, you would have known that this stock was going to be womp womp womp. Why? Because after the moving average change, doesn't matter what is. I mean, if you're a scalper and you want to play out the gate the stock, I mean that's fine because look, it opens up again. This is Pacific time. Obviously, that's 9:35, 5 minutes after the open. But if you want to play it and scalp it for a few cents, it only went up what? Not even 20 cents or so. So yeah. And then it just pretty much stayed down throughout the rest of the day. But had you wait till the moving averages change twice, you would have had a good idea since saying, hey, you would have looked at this and say, okay, this looks like it's, in a bearish trend and the volume has died down. Probably not worth me trading if I'm a bullish trader. But if I'm a short trader, yep, I'll probably jump into that if you could find shares located to trade. So that's just one. But obviously, at that point, if it's not doing what you're doing, what you want it to do, move on to the next. Move on to wait for the next alert. So let's look at another one here. And OBLM was on the watch list, guys. So pretty simple there. Let's take a look at FSR. Let's do that one. That was on the, what date was that? 20th. Okay, let's see here. Right here. All right, so alert goes off, does what it does. Changed. Moving averages hadn't changed yet. At this point, it's at the second point of the moving average. There's no setup here. You guys got to remember not to be trying to force yourself to see something that isn't there. There's no kind of chart setup here. There's nothing to play here. There's just an alert that it went off. So remember, as momentum traders, guys, what you're looking at is for stocks that are moving. Why would you want to trade a stock that has not moved? You're not going to make no money. It's just going to sit there. No one's wanting to buy the shares that you're selling. Okay, so know that too. With so pretty much that's what you're looking at with FSR. After the second of the moving average, it just stayed down. Now, if you're a bear trader, man, this was probably a good setup for you because you had some good levels of support and resistance right here to work with. You know, boom, boom, and you could have made some money on the downside there. Not too bad for you bear traders. um, so yeah, that's just one of the another alerts. And they had news. They had price target rating. So guys, news is just a catalyst. It's not. It's just one other reason for you to look for a trade. Let's take a look at Blink. That had some catalyst too. On the 20th, I believe. What date was this again? I keep forgetting the dates. Yeah, the 20th. Blink, blink, blink. Blink charging stations. I mean, I think Blink is still pretty decent long term. Just my opinion. Day trading different. But yeah, so pretty much they had a little catalyst, it spiked up, then it came right back down. So for those of you that are getting the alerts, you jump in the gun and you go jump into the trade right away. Don't do that. I mean, it says it when you sign up, and don't trade every single trade or every alert. These ones are just kind of let you know, hey, look at this, look at this. This stock could be doing something. But yeah, pretty choppy. Not much volume there. Some of them will have volume spikes. Now, what that means is that quickly at once, a bunch of trades are happening, guys. Um, which means just to look at it doesn't mean that it's going to continue. It just means at this moment, right now, it's trading a lot of hands. So you might want to look at this because this might bring attention. And as you can see, it just quickly died down. A lot of those happen. So yeah, that's pretty much Blink. Let's see what else we can look at. Let's take a look at WBT. I know that one went off pretty well for me as well too. But let's take a look at NNDM because I'm pretty sure they're not doing. At the time that we alerted, it was doing good. It was went off a couple of times. So let's take a look here. This was alerted when same date as on 20th. Okay, so let's just take a look here. Oh yeah, this is where NNDM gave me some money. It was a pretty good payout. All right. So yeah, this one was just a gradual climber. Okay, and this one was alerted. Wow, when was this originally alerted? 772. I think it was alerted at its peak. So even if you were a short trader, you could have gotten that bad boy. I just saw it. Yeah, so they acquired machine learning for 40 million, blah blah blah. It was alerted at 692. 692. So it's probably alerted like right around this area here. Then it ran all the way up and came all the way back down. Now, unless you're a good scalper, probably wouldn't have been a trade you'd want to get in because again, moving average didn't change till after here. I mean, you could quickly jump in and then ride that bad boy and then quickly get out before the moving average change. Guys, remember this comes in waves. Let the wave play out. Boom, vroom, 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 vroom. I mean, that's just how these stocks work. Not straight lines; they're waves. You gotta learn to ride the wave. Once you understand that concept, you'll be able to understand that much more completely. Now, again, this is just me going off of moving averages. Um, I'm not even, implementing RSI or anything else for you guys at that matter. When just reviewing these later on, as we get further into this, I will. But this is just some basic stuff for you. Okay. Um, so yeah, so let's look at some on another day. Let's look at the 21st. Let's see what good stocks we had that day. Oh man, let's look at WBT. That one was alerted at 1905. What date was that? 21st. Here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. WBT. You were alerted at 19 something. Somewhere in this area you were alerted, guys. This thing moved like crazy. And I believe that was something I profited on. I made like $1,000 off of this play right here because I was loading the boat on this thing. Look at that. After the second mover average, if you're holding this position, if you're still in your highs and your moving averages is down, man, I know you kind of almost got nowhere to go but up, in my opinion. And look at that. 22, 22, 22. Even if you would have held it overnight, that'd have been pretty decent. So yeah. And it's still kind of trending up. This might be a good stock to swing, honestly. Just my opinion, but do your own due diligence. None of this is financial advice, like I tell you guys. Just my opinion. So yeah, WBT was pretty good. Um, I mean, it's just so many opportunities, guys. And if you do this day in and day out, and just kind of know what to look for, you could be very profitable. I mean, eventually, whatever your goal is, you can get to it. Um, I'm trying to think what other good alerts might have been decent for you guys to look at. I mean, it's just so many. But mainly, I just wanted to touch on the watch list for you guys. Uh, there's a lot of things to look at when it comes to trading, but the more you do this, the easier it becomes. Let's take a look at CDAC. I know that one was a good one too. I think I'm profiting on that one as well. Let's see here. CDAC. I don't know what day that was. Or CDAK. I said CDAC. Was that in here? BTX was pretty good too. Let's look at BTX. Let me zoom out of this here. We know it was sometime during this week, so I believe it was in this area that CDAK is doing pretty well. But anyways, let's take a look at BTX too. Look at that one. When did I alert BTX? 1860. It was on. Oh, BTX was on a watch list, guys. Another watch list beast. Yeah, it was on the back burner right here. And that was on the 23rd. That was on a Friday. Friday. Kept it on the back burner. And if you just look, pre-market high was at 1218. You come out the gate, you drop, and then you break your pre-market high. You get a higher day, and you're doing nothing but getting high. Support 20 joke. But anyways, support held on the moving average when it already changed second time. I'd probably get in. I'd take that chance. I'd risk my biscuit for about $12, you know, and then just let that bad boy ride. And then I'd probably take profits. So I mean, Jesus, look at this, man. This thing went a couple of dollars. Wow. Anyways, guys, I don't know how much easier I can make this. I mean, I'm taking out half of the work for you by doing the alerts and the watch list. I mean, this is value in itself just doing that. This guys, I want to touch on this one too because I traded this one horribly, horribly. I don't know how I messed this one up. This was MVIS was a good one. What did I do here, man? I messed this one up bad. I lost like $400 on this one. I mean, yeah, I made like 600 on OCGN, but still, I was more upset the fact that I traded it wrong than the fact that I lost money. That's when you begin to start to think like that and feel like that. That's when you know you're on the way to becoming a good trader. It took me a long time to realize that too. In the beginning, I was so worried about the money. Now I just don't care. I'm more about getting the trade right. But I messed this one up for several different reasons, and I believe when did I have this one? I think I sold here and got in here, which was just horrible. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. But you know what? I can't be mad at myself because you can't win them all. Um, this thing trended up good. Even if, as long as you would have got in any time before the $16 mark, great for you. Which wasn't my ability. I mean, to the fault. I mean, it wasn't even notified until 1721. But was it on the watch list before? It wasn't, was it? No, it wasn't. So I can't be too mad. For whatever reason, the alert didn't go off. I think the alert went off around this area. Yeah, but even if you went and got in when it broke the previous high, you could have still made some money. I mean, it went all the way up to $19. Again, I just played this wrong. I waited too late and just kept watching and just kept watching. That's pretty much what happened to me, guys. Sometimes that happens to you. It could happen to you. It's nothing that you did wrong. There's no 100% solid trading strategy. Anyone tell you that there is a lie. This thing right here had plenty of good setups. I mean, several cup and handles right there, right there, right there. I mean, it's still trending along the VWAP. The earnings moving average is above. It's pretty good. So, anyways, it breaks here and breaks here. I mean, that's good amount of profit you can take right there if you're not being too greedy. But again, can't win them all. I got in right here, expecting the trend to continue. I don't know why. I usually don't get in that at that point. Um, but yeah, and I just said, you know what? Let me just stop because I figured it wasn't going to keep going. And who knows? Come Monday, this thing might continue to go up. If it does, oh well. One lesson I'll learn. Um, and the reason why I suspect that it might continue to do that is just because the EMA and the VWAP has not crossed yet. So this trend could continue to still go up. You see it cross down here, um, and it continue to trend up, trend up. But again, that's just one strategy of a million strategies that are out there. Um, again, stocks can go right and I can trade wrong. It happens all the time, regardless of what the alerts do. Again, hopefully this video helps you guys out. I'll post this in the learning lounge for you to be able to review. I'll go live in a minute. We'll talk about some more stuff and then we'll get ready for tomorrow and I'll post a new watch list up shortly. All right. Until then, guys, stay green.